I will be sending that out along with a bunch of really great instructions on how to do everything we talk about today, but it will have screenshots and step-by-step instructions. So if you miss anything on today's session, you'll be able to reference that. So please come off mute and use chat and ask questions as we go through. But like I mentioned, this is the 2.0 class. This is for Moxi websites. And so if you have not attended the 1.0 class, it's not the end of the world. You'll just have some missing pieces that we covered in the first session. All right, so we will go ahead and get started. So like I mentioned, if you want to follow along, we will be clicking on Moxi Works on desk. And when you click on that, you should see a screen like this with your name and all of your contact information on it. I do want to mention that this contact information is fed from your desk profile. So nothing on here is editable, but this information, as you see, you can go through here, will be fed onto different parts of the website and Moxi Engage. So what we're going to do is we're going to click on My Website at the very top of the screen. And this is going to launch the admin version of the website. So what I tell my classes is whenever you see this black vertical bar on the left side of your screen, that means you're in the admin or the editing view. Okay, so the consumer is never going to see this side of your site. However, when you click on Visit Site in this top left corner, this opens what I call the consumer view. Okay, so you'll notice it's different. It has all the agent contact information, the mortgage rates, and these great pages across the top. So today we're going to toggle a lot between the admin view and the consumer view. And to do this, it's always in the top left corner. So you can see now we're in consumer view and we just click admin home in the top left, and that will get us back to our editing view. All right. So we're back in our editing view, and what we're going to start off with is appearance. So if you took the first session, you'll know that we covered the layout and the colors, and we also talked about the footer, and the requirements for the footer in Texas are to have your IABS form and your TREC consumer protection notice. However, we neglected to look at the header last time. So today we are going to hover over appearance and click on header. And you're going to see this screen. You can see it defaults to this top header. And what a header is it's the very top of your website. So it's that color block across the top that had the Coldwell Banker logo, and it had all the menu items on it to navigate on your site. So the one selected is the one in teal. However, I can also choose one of these brokerage focused logos. And that means on this one that I have selected, the Coldwell Banker logo will be on the left, and now you'll actually have your contact information populated across the top. So these brokerage focused logos headers are popular because now we actually put your contact info at the top of your website as well as that center section. You'll notice the default header does not have any contact info across the top. So if you're following along with me, go ahead and make your selection. You'll also notice if you choose brokerage focused logo only, this step 2 will pop up. And this actually allows you to change the colors of your header. So it defaults to the background being white, and then the text for the menu options on your website default to black. So what I love to do is personalize it a tiny bit by changing this text color to our Coldwell Banker blue. So I actually pulled up these identity standards, and you can just copy the code here, and I'm going to drop it into chat for y'all. So if anyone is following along and they want that code, they'll have it. And then I can come back here and click and just paste in my new code. All right, so I'll pause for a second and let y'all make those edits if you're following along on your own to change the background color and the text color. Say you love like a purple, right? That's your favorite color, or it's in your logo. You can actually Google hex color for purple. This is just a trick for y'all. And you can find some online sources that will have different shades of purple, right? There's a million shades of purple. So if I knew I liked this light violet one, this is the code that I would type in on Moxi to ensure that my text or my background color was this purple color. Okay, so it's a really cool resource for you to stand out a little bit. And that's what I love about the Moxi sites is they are completely customizable. All right, so we're back on the header. And now I have the option to change the Coldwell Banker logo. So because my background color is white, I'm going to stick with the blue Coldwell Banker logo because I want there to be contrast. If I had changed my background color to a dark color, I would want to change the Coldwell Banker logo to the white option. It's pretty hard to see on here, but it tells you it's meant for a dark background and this one is meant for light. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave the last step as it is and not check any boxes, and I'm going to hit publish. And you can see at the top this green line appears and it says my header has been updated. So we talked about toggling earlier. Now I want to click Visit Site so I can open up a new tab with the consumer view of the website. You'll see on here I have white at the top now, and all of my font is the navy blue Coldwell Banker color. And then I have my agent contact information auto-populated at the top as well. All right, so pretty easy, pretty fun to be able to customize. Of course, I accidentally hit the wrong button. And then we're done with the header. So now we are going to navigate to home page. So it's not home at the top, it's home page, the fourth one down. And when you took our 1.0 class for Moxi, we spent a lot of time on home page and we wanted to perfect it and make it look special to us. So what we're going to do now is we're going to cover all of the sections that we didn't cover before. So Jennifer has a great question. Is there a way to add our team logo next to the broker logo in the header? There is not, Jennifer, but the first section we're going to talk about is actually this welcome text, and that will answer your question for team logo. So if you're following along on brokerage, or excuse me, on the home page, we're going to scroll down to welcome text. And here you're going to see a big open text box. So we can do a couple of different things here. We can put text. So what I would recommend is 1 or 2 sentences about yourself. This is not meant to be your bio. This is meant to be a brief summary. Option 2 is you can put some bullets about yourself. Oftentimes people are drawn to bullets. They're a little bit easier to read. And so maybe you highlight licensed realtor since 1999, native Texan. You could say Sterling Society Award for 2021. You know, whatever stats and notable things you have to mention, you can put that in here. The other option you have is to add an image. So in our example, I will go to Add Media, select Files, and I'm going to find an image on my computer to use on here. So say this was my logo, for example. I would hit Open. And in the bottom right corner is a blue button that says Insert into Post. So you can see this hypothetical team logo has now been placed in here. What you want to also take into consideration is the size of the logo. When my image appears, I'm going to hit the pencil to edit it. And now I can adjust the size. I highly recommend medium because it seems to work best on our screen. And then you hit the blue update button. So I'm going to scroll all the way down and hit publish because I want to show you all the changes in real time. So now that I know my page has been updated, I can click Visit Site. And now you see on this right side, right at the top of your website, this is where your logo would be located. So hopefully that suffices. We do have options for completely custom home pages. And if you chose a completely custom home page, that would be something you would learn in our 3.0 class. And then you'd be able to put the logo in a different location. So hopefully that answers your question, Jennifer. So I'm going back to home page where we just were, and I want to show you a different option for this welcome text. So instead of this picture, I'm just going to click on that and hit delete. Now I have my blank welcome text. What I love to do is a video. So I think we all know video is kind of the king when it comes to marketing. And so what I suggest is filming yourself with a horizontal video, and it can just be on your iPhone. It doesn't have to be professionally shot, but just about a minute or two introduction of yourself, right? So you'll just set up the camera somewhere stable, introduce yourself, talk about your value proposition, how long you've been an agent, who you service, etc. And then after you have that video, you'll save it and you'll upload it to a YouTube channel. So you'll want to create your own YouTube. But once you have a video on YouTube, you can now embed that video onto your website in this same location. So if you don't want to record a video of yourself, because I know some of you are probably rolling your eyes at me right now in front of your computers, we can actually take an existing video from the internet on YouTube and put it on our websites. So this is what I want everyone to practice if you're following along with me. So what we're going to do is we're going to open a new tab on our computer, and I'm just going to go to youtube.com. And when I've landed on YouTube in this search bar, I will type in Coldwell Banker Realty. So we're going to work smarter, not harder today. We're going to find an existing video that Coldwell Banker has made. So when I hit enter, it's going to give me all the search results that contain Coldwell Banker Realty. We want to scroll down until we see this nice Coldwell Banker logo in the circle, and we want to click on that. And now you see we're on the Coldwell Banker Realty YouTube channel. So what we can do is in this channel, there is this little magnifying glass, and that will help us search for a specific video from Coldwell Banker. So I know there's a great video called The Dream Campaign. So I'm going to go in here and I'm going to search Dream. So now we're pulling in any video from Coldwell Banker that has Dream in it. And what I want to pick is this top one. It's the Coldwell Banker Realty Dream 60-second video. I do believe there are shorter ones, so it doesn't matter which one you select. For my example, we'll use this one. So I'm going to click on the video as if I were watching it. But then you want to pause because the video will play itself and you'll be annoyed at it. Okay, so I have my Coldwell Banker Realty Dream video. And now this is probably the most important step of adding a video. We need to click share. And then this pop-up appears. And we want to click embed. Okay, so this is very confusing because usually you're inclined to click this copy button. Instead, we're clicking embed. And now we see our nice video again, and we see all this code on the right side. So we don't want to click anything except the word copy. You see when I click copy, we now have all this text highlighted in blue. So we know that the code that will allow the video to play on our site has been copied. All right, so after we have hit copy, I'm going back to the same home page we've been on in my big blank welcome text section. Now here's the second most important thing. In the far right corner, we are in visual mode. The only place we can put the code is text mode. So I'm going to click on the text button over here, and you'll see that my menu items changed at the top. So I'm going to click in here and hit paste. And now that code from YouTube has been pasted into the text box. Here's the trick to see if it worked. Now I toggle back to visual mode. And ta-da, we see our beautiful video. Okay, so you have to paste the video in text mode and preview it in visual mode. And then what we're going to do is we're going to scroll all the way down and we're going to publish our changes. And then I'm actually going to show you what they look like live by clicking Visit Site. So you see next to his contact information, we now have this great dream video campaign. All right, I want to pause a second and make sure I haven't lost anyone. Are there any questions on embedding a video or even putting text or a photo here? Nothing, y'all are pros. Perfect. Well, feel free to unmute or put into the chat if you have any questions about that. So we are going to go back to admin home. Awesome. Thank you, Jennifer. And back to home page. We're going to do a lot of toggling to home page today. This time we're going to scroll all the way down and we're going to find custom search module. Okay, so it's a little bit farther down right here. Hopefully you can see it on my screen. What this is a dedicated section on your website that allows you to input a saved search from MLS. So the beauty of this is if you had a client, if I was your client and you set me up on a saved search, you never have to run the search again, right? It automatically feeds in the new listings that fit the criteria and it sends me an email. Well, this is the same concept, except it's on your website. So what I like it for is something like open houses. So what we could do is we can create a custom search called Open Houses This Weekend, and it will always be on your site. And anytime an agent puts an open house for the next weekend, it will auto-populate on your site. This doesn't mean that people can't do a normal search on your site. This is just additional fun, interactive content that they can get to in a pinch without having to do a lot of search criteria. However, if you don't want to do open houses this weekend, maybe you have a certain part of town that you specifically work or a certain price point, we can also set up that save search to pull up on the home page. So I could say Westlake homes for sale if I work Westlake, and then it would just pull in Westlake properties. So you have complete flexibility on how your site works. Matt asked a great question. He said, is it Coldwell Banker open houses only or anything in the MLS? It's actually anything in MLS. So all of these searches are anything in whatever MLS you are associated with in your Coldwell Banker account. So that's really nice because it pulls in everything and not just Coldwell Banker. All right, so let's set up this search. What we're going to do is click these blue words that say create a custom search. Now, be sure to hit publish before you do that, or you're going to lose your previous work. So if you've been following along, if you added a video, go ahead and hit publish first, and that's at the very bottom. I'll do it again just to be sure because I never want to lose my work. And then I'm going to scroll down back to custom search, and I'm going to hit these blue words that say create a custom search. And here we get this blank text box and title section. What we need to do is actually run a search on the consumer side of our site and then paste the code into this box. So we're going to click Visit Site in the top left corner. And here you should land on your website. What we want to do is we want to type in the general area to pull in open houses. So I live in Austin, so my example will be Austin, Texas. If you want a broader area, bear with me, go ahead and put in one of the cities you want included, and then I will show you how to expand that. So you can see we've landed on our search, and I am currently getting any home for sale in Austin. What I can do is I find the filters button at the top of the screen. And when I click it, I get all my filters to narrow down my search criteria. On the very far left, there is an open houses section. I'm going to click on in person. And then from the drop down, you can actually select when they take place. I like to do this weekend because I think most open houses are on the weekend. You can also do this week. So pick one of these options. And then on the right side, select the property types. If you kind of specialize in single family homes, you probably only want those to show up on your search. If you do everything, then go ahead and check them all. Do not select rentals because it will mess up your search. And then here I can click the blue apply button. So now, because it's Thursday, we have a lot happening in Austin this weekend in terms of open houses, and we can see all these orange dots on the right are open houses. Say you are a global luxury agent and you want to focus mostly on luxury properties. You could now add a different layer of filtering and click on price. And you can actually put a minimum price point too, or maximum, and then you would hit apply. In my scenario, I'm going to click to the side because I don't want to limit my parameters at all. Okay, so I will give everyone just a second who is following along to get their search exactly where they want it. While you're doing that, say you work more than just Austin proper. On this map, this is where we can actually draw the area we want in. So what I can do is I can hit this draw button and I can say quick draw. And now I'm going to draw in my area instead because I know this agent works the south part of Austin. And now we have changed the criteria for where the open houses pull in. Okay, so you either type in a city or a zip in the bar or draw it on the map. Okay, so when we've gotten these criteria selected, we are going to navigate to the very top of the screen where our URL is. When I click once, it's going to highlight the entire URL for me. Now I can right click and say copy because I want to copy all the search criteria I just put in. Now I'm going back in my other tab to where I have custom property search selected. In our big text box, we are going to paste the code, and it's very long, from my search criteria. And now I want to name it Open Houses This Weekend. Here's a tip. This title is consumer facing. Please make sure your capitalization is exactly how you want it to be. And now our very last but most important step. This tells us here that the path must start with the word search. So we have to go into our custom search path where we typed the very, very long code, and we actually have to find the word search with the backslash after it. Okay, so you see it's at the very top of your long link. And I need to click right in front of the word search, so in front of the S, and I need to backspace everything that was in front of that word search because it cannot read my code unless my code starts with search. And it gives us an example down here. Okay, so I deleted everything, and the part you delete should have your name in it, and it should say like cbmoxi.com, and then it would start with the word search. So once I've done that and I know it looks good, I'm going to hit the save button. Angie says, when we change our domain, do we need to update the link? No, you do not. That's a great question. Because we deleted the part that's the domain, it will not affect your search criteria. A really good question, though. All right, any other questions on custom search? No? Perfect. So we're going back to home page on the left in the black bar. And we're going to scroll down to where the custom search module is. Now if you remember last time it told us we needed to create a search, this time it knows we actually have one search saved. So see from my little drop down, I have open houses this weekend populated, which is awesome. So what I need to do is change the title on my website to match my search that I'm showing. So you're going to type in the same thing, open houses this weekend, or something to that effect. I will tell you the computer does not love apostrophes, so please avoid them in your title if at all possible. And then the number of properties to display, I recommend leaving that at 20. This means it will let you scroll through 20, and then it will let you click a button to preview all of the properties that fit the criteria and change any of the filtering. So I would leave that at 20, and I'm going to scroll all the way down and I'm going to hit the publish button. And now when I come back to my home page, I'm going to scroll down. And first are featured properties, which you should have done in your first 1.0 session. And next you see open houses this weekend. So I can scroll through and see all of the open houses. And you'll notice there's a button down here to see more and go see the rest of the properties that fit the criteria. So pretty cool, pretty interactive, and no additional work on your part, which I love. Looks like we're getting a question. I'll keep going and I'll answer that as soon as I see it come through. So we're going to be back on home page and we are going to scroll down. And next I want to talk about the links module. So the links module are essentially bulleted hyperlinks that will show up on the bottom of your homepage. And they're going to go next to that mortgage calculator or with the interest rates that auto pull in for you. And so think of these as just any third-party site you want to link to. So it could be something like your social media. Maybe you want to reiterate all your social channels. Or it could be an article you've been featured in, right? Maybe you've been quoted in a certain publication online. We could link there. A third idea is a charity that's near and dear to your heart. So you could say, you know, check out Austin Pets Alive, and you could link to the Austin Pets Alive website, and then people could learn more about that charity. So let me pause. Cynthia's question says, can you have more than one search? With the templated homepage, you can only have one at a time. So you could create multiple searches, and this week I could have open houses this weekend. And next week I could go into the back side of my website and I could change that drop down to maybe homes for sale in Westlake. But at any given time, you can only have one or the other show up on the homepage. However, if you attend to the 3.0 class, we'll talk about completely custom home pages, like I mentioned, and there you'll be able to include multiple custom searches. So that's a great question. So back to the links module, we're going to together put one link on so y'all will understand how it works. So we're going to click on Manage Links. And it's going to take us to a blank screen. So I want to say Add New. In our example, I'm going to do Facebook because that's an easy one. So you can call it whatever you want. You could say My Facebook. You could say Facebook. You could say Talia's Facebook, however you want to name it. And then I would need to come over to a new tab and actually go find my Facebook link to my business page. So here I'm going to search this agent. And I need to actually click into the account as if I were a consumer viewing it, right? So this is his Facebook business page. And I'm going to copy the link at the top of the page. So it should say facebook.com/ and then whatever your name is on your business page on Facebook. So I've copied this link and I come back here to my Add New Link section. And where it says web address, that's where I need to paste my link in. Okay, so my name is Facebook. My web address is the Facebook link. And the last selection I need to do is go to Target and select blank. So this will mean that when someone clicks on a link, it opens that new page on a new tab, and that way we don't lose them from your website, because that's the whole point of a website, is keeping them around. And now when I'm done with those 3 selections, I'm going to click the blue Add Link button in the top right corner. Once it's added, it's giving me a new blank page because it's wanting me to add more links. However, if I typed in the wrong thing or wanted to rename my link, on the left side, there's an All Links section. So I will click on All Links. And now it's going to have my list of everything I've added. So I can simply hover over it and click the Edit button, and that would allow me to change the name or change the link that I want to display. Now I'm going to click on Visit Site. And when I scroll down on the home page, we have useful links next to the sample mortgage rates. And when I click on this, you can see it turns into a hyperlink, and that allows me to open up his Facebook business page. So we want to go back to Admin Home and back to Home Page. And when we scroll down to where we were, under the the links module, you notice the title on the website says useful links. That's a great title. However, some people have enjoyed putting a different title. So for my example, I would put Meet Dennis, because all of the links are going to be something that talk a little bit more about Dennis, right? And getting to know him. So that is where I can change the title that displays on that home page. So these are optional, obviously, but I think they're really nice resources to give people a little more insight about you. Rather than creating a brand new page about it, you can just send someone to a third-party site that has information about something that you care about. So Matt's question says, can all these customizations be copied to a custom page, or do they have to be built from scratch? That's a great question. So when we talk about a custom homepage, there will be templates for a custom homepage. And within the template, you can drag in various features. So if you go ahead and set all of this up now, it will say like add a links module, and you can add the link module there. Or it'll say add a custom search module, and you'll drop in what you've already done. So it is advantageous to go ahead and set it up this way. And then in 3.0 class, we'll talk more about taking it the next step and kind of designing it from a template or completely from scratch. Hopefully that answered your question, Matt, but if not, feel free to unmute and I can explain a little more. All right, y'all, the very last section on homepage that we have to cover is featured video. So if you remember, at the top, there was a section called Welcome Text, and we talked about your ability to add text, a photo, or a video in the welcome text, and that was front and center. Down here is a featured video. This is towards the bottom of your website. So this is going to show up at the bottom by those useful links and by the mortgage rates. So this is what I call a secondary video. Still important, but not as important as the other one. And what we do here is we can come back to YouTube in our example. And maybe this one I want to talk about Coldwell Banker Realty year in review. So I could find this video. I can click share. I can click embed. And then I click copy. And now I come back to my featured video text box. And this is where it's tricky. We come to text, the tab over here, and we paste our video. Now we toggle to visual and we make sure the video is showing up. What I'm telling people is if you can find a cool YouTube video that's like a tour of your town, so maybe there's like a guide to DFW or like a traveler's guide, you can add that kind of video in the featured video section. Here is the catch. Please, please, please check who made the video on YouTube. Many of the videos that are tours of different cities and towns are made by other agents. And we're happy for them. However, we don't want to promote them, right? We want to promote us. So when you get a video from YouTube, if it's outside of the Caldwell Banker ones, I need you to check who the author is and try and find one that's from like a news channel or a travel blogger or a travel site like Expedia or something, right? We don't want to give any more exposure to another agent with another brokerage. Okay, so you're welcome to use any video on YouTube because it sources back to the original offer. There's no copyright issues. But again, check on who has made the video so we're not publicizing someone else. So now that I've got that in there, I am going to change my title. So right now it's called featured video. If it were about me, I could then say meet Talia, right? If it were a tour of Austin, you could say tour of Austin. This one is about Caldwell Banker, so I'm going to say the Caldwell Banker way, and I'm going to make sure my capitalization is just how I want it. And now I'm going to hit publish. And after excuse me, I cannot speak today. After it has updated, it will be green here. And I'm going to go back to refresh his homepage. And this time when we scroll down, you can see all of my sections. So this Meet Dennis was my useful links. And now the Caldwell Banker Way video is embedded right here. And my nice sample mortgage rates auto-populate here. All right, so once you spend the 5 or 10 minutes getting that set up once, it will live on your site forever and you shouldn't really need to change it. Any questions on either the useful links or the video embed option? Okay, I'll take that as a good sign. So now the last part of our class is probably my favorite, so I'll be nerding out over here, but it's talking about adding new pages to your website that Caldwell Banker has already made for you, and then enhancing those pages with what we call modules. So modules are sections of a website that are designed to talk about a very specific topic. So for example, if you were following along with caldwellbanker.com, we just launched a move meter. So it's called the CB move meter, and a consumer can come on and they can put in 2 different cities and it will auto compare the cost of living and some of the other things like the jobs, health, the wages and things like that, and let people compare what living in 2 different cities would be like. So that's a really cool feature. We also have an instant home valuation tool. We have a module that's about listing concierge. We have a module that's about Real Vitalize. So just the point of modules is Caldwell Banker has done all the hard work, and now you just choose where you want to pop it into your website. So now we're done with homepage, and we're going to migrate over to site pages. So you'll notice on site pages that some of these are indented right underneath, and that means those are drop downs. And some of them are all the way to the left, like properties. This tells you next to it that it's a menu item. So that means that it's across the top of your website, and then anything directly indented underneath it are the drop downs that fall under that respective menu item. The cool thing about this is you just simply drag and drop if you want to rearrange your pages. So we are on all pages underneath site pages, and I'm going to click on Add New. Here I get this pop-up, and it asks what kind of thing I want to add. So it's going to default to custom page, and that's what I want to select. And then I'm going to hit submit. And here we're on a brand new blank page. So together I'm going to help y'all add a buying page and a selling page. So let's start with selling. So we're going to type in selling or something to that effect. You might say sell your home, sell with me, sell a house, whatever it may be. And we're going to hit Save Draft on the far right. So after everything has refreshed and saved, I'm going to find this Builder tab. Now it's kind of grayed out, but it should be directly under where you typed selling. And I'm going to click on Builder. And this is where the fun happens. So this new page is essentially allowing me to create a custom page or insert a template that's been pre-made for me. So what we're going to do is in the top right corner in this big pop-up, I'm going to select templates. And now some templates appear. You'll notice there is a thing that says Moxi Works templates. I'm going to click on that drop down to see the different templates available. We want to do brand templates. So I'm going to click on brand templates. And you'll automatically notice all of the templates that pop up are the Coldwell Banker Blue, which is awesome because now we know Coldwell Banker has made these templates for us. In the pop-up, I'm going to scroll down to the very bottom and I'm going to find one called Template Selling Your Home. So if you see my mouse, it's directly next to the St. Jude one, so it makes it a little easier to find. And I'm going to click on it. And now we see this beautiful page pop up with all this great content. So we have selling your home. If I scroll down, we talk about #1 visited brand, learn about selling a house, your guide, and they even embed a great video here, as well as a contact form. What you can do is you can go through, and if you hover over a section of text, you see these blue lines appear. That means it's a section that can be edited. So I'm going to click once, and a nice text box will appear and let me change any of the text that I want. So what I could do here, instead of local market knowledge, I could say Austin area market knowledge, and I could hit save. Right? So you can leave it exactly as is because they've spent a lot of time making it, or you can make minor tweaks to make it customized in your own. So as you go through, you can do any of that. If you hover over a picture, you could swap it out for a different picture if you had one that fit whatever the topic was above it. If there's something you don't like, you can just simply hover over the text box and hit the X, and it will remove just that section of content. So what we're going to do is once we've made all of our changes, we're going to hit done in the top right corner. And then now we have new options, and we're going to go ahead and hit publish. And now I've been changed to my consumer mode. So what I need to do is I created this beautiful page but now it's floating in no man's land on my website. So I need to tell my website where I want that page to live, and I want to know exactly where people will find it. So I'm going back to admin home, and I'm going back to site pages. So now we're focused on site pages. And if I scroll to the very bottom, I find my selling page. You'll notice it's all the way to the left, which means right now it's a menu item across the top of my website. But I don't want that. I think it makes the most sense for it to be a drop down. And if you'll notice in the middle of my screen, there is a buying and selling menu item with buying and selling tips and a financial calculator. To me, it makes the most sense to move a selling page there. So what I can do is I can hover to the left of the word selling, and I find the crisscross marks, and I can click and I can drag this up right here, and I can let go, and I want to make sure it's aligned with all my other pages, and then I can hit publish. Now, when I click on Visit Site in the top left corner, I'm going to hover over buying and selling, and now I have my nice selling page as a drop-down right here. So I'll click on that, and I will see all the awesome content that is already made for me, right? It took us like 4 minutes, and this page was already done. So now we're going to repeat that process for a buying page as well. I'm going to go to Admin Home. I'm going to go to Site Pages. I'm going to go to Add New, Custom Page, and Submit. This time my title is going to be Buying. I want to do Save Draft. And then here I look for the Builder tab underneath the word Buying. Now we're back on our page to design a new web page. We're going to click on Templates. And again, from the dropdown, we're changing to Brand Templates. And we notice the same Caldwell Banker blue templates we saw before. This time, the very top in the right side, it's called Template Buying a Home. I'm going to click on that. And now it's going to auto-populate with a buying page. So we can scroll down, make sure everything looks good. You can come back and tweak the text at any time. And then we're going to hit Done in the top right corner and hit Publish. So I'm back in the consumer view. And again, I need to tell my site exactly where I want this page to live. So I'm going to click on Admin Home. And then I'm going to click on Site Pages. And if I scroll to the very, very bottom, I find my buying page. Here I hover over till I get the crisscross, and I'm going to click and drag underneath selling. And when I let go, it goes in its exact spot, and then I hit publish. So now I have two awesome new pages that I didn't actually have to make myself, but make me look more educated and informed on my website. All right, so I know that was a lot of steps. I'm not sure how many of you are following along with me as I go, but I want to pause and see if anyone has questions. like we've got some in the chat. Jennifer, you're killing it. You got them both up. I love it. Can I get a copy of the recording? Yes, we will be emailing it out. Don't worry. And I have a whole PowerPoint with screenshots and step-by-step instructions. Okay, so there's one more feature I want to show you. And you'll have to finish doing what we talk about today on your own time, because I'm just going to show you one way to do it. And then you'll be able to go back and do it yourself. So we talked about modules earlier, and I told you about all the cool modules we have available. So what we're going to do is we're going to click Add New on Site Pages. And same thing, Custom Page. So you should be used to this one by now. And hit Submit. And this time for our title, I'm calling it Test Page Do Not Publish. Reason being is we need to make a page so that we can extract those modules and use them on other pages. But this is always going to be in draft mode, so a consumer will never see it. So I'm going to hit Save Draft, just like before. And this time I'm going to hit Builder, just like before. And now on this screen, we're doing templates. And we're still doing brand templates. Okay, so this time we're actually picking the first template in the top left corner, and it's called Module Library. And this is a funny page because, like I mentioned, it's never meant to be published. And it tells you in hot pink letters, do not publish this page to your website. But what it is it's a hidden page that allows you to extract content to use on other pages. So what we're going to do is we're going to extract a module that's about selling, and we're going to input it on our selling page that we just added. So what I want everyone to do is I want everyone to scroll down to this view of CB estimate. So what these are is each section has a different background color. So you'll notice this CB estimate is everything that falls in this navy box. So this is one module. The navy is one module. If I scroll down, this white background is CB estimate again with a different design, and it's a different module. So you'll notice these light blue lines appear again. When I have my mouse over here, we only have this image circled in the blue lines. If I move my mouse to the top left corner of this module, this blue line appears, and now I get these options. So I want to move my mouse to where the blue lines are outlining the entire module, including the background, the text, and the picture. Okay, so if you're following along, get your screen to where it looks just like mine, where you see part of the navy at the top, and then you see the white CB estimate. And you have your mouse here with this blue line appearing. What you're going to do is you're going to hit this row settings button. It's a little wrench icon. And I'm going to click. And I get all these options. But I'm going to ignore the options, and I'm going to click Save As. So this is the only time we use Save As. And now I get a new pop-up asking me to save that module. So this is a row across the screen, right? And it's a module. So what I need to do is I need to name it something hyper specific so that when I go back and I add it to a page, I know what it is. So what I would call it is CB estimate, because that's the name of the tool. White background, because I want to know what the background color is for aesthetic purposes. And then I'm going to call it Two Guys with Dog, right? So it's very descriptive of what exactly this picture is. And then I'm going to hit save. That name is an internal name, right? No one's ever going to see the name, but we need to know it so that when we pop it into a part on our website, we know what we're getting into in terms of what the design will be. So what you can do is in your spare time after I send the recording, you can come back through and you can see all the different pieces of content that we have. For example, this move meter is incredible. So I would hover over the top left corner, so I can just show y'all one more time, and see how this blue bar is encompassing all of this navy part. I can hit the wrench, and then I hit Save As, and I will call this one Move Meter with Phone and Navy Background. And then I hit Save. Okay, so all we're doing is extracting out the row or the module to then use in other places. So what I'm going to do for now is I'm going to hit Done in the top right corner. And then again, we named this page Do Not Publish, so don't you dare hit that Publish button, right? We want to hit Save Draft. And we're keeping this page in draft mode forever. Okay, so we did step one. We've extracted the cool modules that we want to use. And now for our last few minutes, I'm going to show you how to put them back into a web page. So I'm on my consumer view. So I want to hit Admin Home. And we know we're in Admin Home because we see this black bar. And now I'm going to go to Site Pages. And we get our long list of pages. So if you added the selling page earlier, I'm going to find where it says selling, and I do not check the box. All I do is click Edit directly beneath selling. So now this looks sort of familiar, right? But we don't see the page. So we have to launch our builder just like before to be able to design our website page. So just like before, now I know I'm in editing mode because I hover over and those blue boxes appear, which let me change what's in the box. So what I need to do is I need to scroll to where I see the exact place I want to drop my module in. And again, understanding where they change and divide is so important. So one module on this page that already exists is this picture of these people, right, with the house. The second module starts where the white background is, and it's about attracting buyers. So right here where this line is, the transition between the image and the white, that is where a module can be dropped. So I need to make sure that I see where the transition is and I have it right on my screen so that I have a good place to drop my module. So now what we do is we hit the plus sign in the top right corner. And this time we're going to saved. So think of those as saved modules. When I click on that, I get a list of anything I've saved. So remember I said CB estimate with guys, with dog, with white background, that's there. And then I have the move meter with the phone and the navy background. So if I want the move meter to go right in between these two sections, I hover over it and I click and I drag it and then I let go where I want it. So don't just click and let go. We have to click and hold down. And then now I'm still holding it. Where this bright blue line appears, that's where my move meter is going to drop. So you'll see it's right under that picture right before the white section. So I'm going to let go and I have my beautiful move meter dropped right there. If you don't like where it is, you can X out and remove it and start over and drop it somewhere else. So what I'm going to do is I am going to come down here and I'm going to find between this navy and this white, and I'm going to hit my plus sign and I'm going to go to saved. And this time I'm going to drop my CB estimate. Okay, so now you can see the flow of the page has changed, but it looks pretty darn awesome and it has really cool features that Coldwell Banker gave you. And you can rearrange the order by hovering over this move button and dragging the module down and up where you want it. And then you're done. So I'm going to hit done and I'm going to hit publish because I want this page to publish because it's the one that looks super awesome. So now my homework would be to go back and extract out additional modules. You could see there were like 15 to 20. And then I can place them on other parts of my website. So it takes a little bit of time up front, but you didn't have to create the content. And once you've saved all the modules, you can now use them unlimited amount of times on an unlimited amount of pages. All right, so Matt said, is this the process for dropping modules into a custom page? Absolutely, Matt. Yes. So you saw we used a template to create a new page. And so there's a bunch of different templates that just have layouts. And then sometimes you drop in your own image or your own text, and then you can add Caldwell Banker modules as well. So that's a great question. Are there any team templates? Yes, there are a number of team templates. And so we can send over additional information about teams, or if you want to attend an in-person Moxi website training locally, they'll go over that as well for you down the road. So feel free to reach out and I'm happy to answer questions on that. Perfect. Well, I want to be respectful of everyone's time. I'm so sorry I was 3 minutes over, but I really appreciate all of you tuning